Hello guys, hi. Thanks for the space and the time. So I want to start with a quick question. Who from here has used GitHub? Please raise your hand. Nice. So in Lightning Bounties, we believe that you should be rewarded for your contributions. In Lightning Bounties, we connect software developers with organizations for their GitHub contributions. I want to tell you everything about it in this presentation. We're going to cover everything. But before starting with that, let me tell you something. We have a problem. Bounties are broken. So if you already tried to try this before or claim a bounty before, you probably know this. But bounties are broken. There are many things behind them that makes them very difficult. And in Lightning Bounties, we have identified that they are hard to find, meaning that they're scattered all over the internet. You can find them in Twitter. You can find them in Nostr. You can find them in random GitHub repos. Or maybe you have a friend who needs some software development help, right? They are also hard to trust. You can start working in a bounty, and you don't even know if you're going to get paid, right? And finally, they're hard to manage. If you're the one posting the bounty, you have to keep track of the bounty, keep track of the submissions, and most importantly, you have to figure out the payment for your bounties. In Lightning Bounties, we found the solution for all these problems, and we create the platform. So what Lightning Bounties sits in the core, it's a Bitcoin payment platform for GitHub that utilizes the Lightning Network together with GitHub and we are incentivizing collaboration among developers. We're going to go with all the details about how this platform works. But before going into that, I want to just introduce you with the team. So my name is Enrique. I'm working on the partnership and growth from the startup. I come with 10 years of experience of software development. And I'm very excited about the Bitcoin ecosystem and what it can do for the world. We also have Mike Abramo. He's our marketing and DevRel. He's the guy that knows about this industry, this ecosystem very well. We also have Will Sutton. He's in charge of product and strategy. He's the mastermind behind Lightning Bounties. We also have Pavel Koronov. This is the guy who's running all the back-end engines behind Lightning Bounties. With all this being said, I'm going to kick this off to Will. He's going to explain us a little bit more about how this works.
All right. So you've heard a little bit about what bounties are and what the problems in the space are. I'm here to take you into the solution, into the infrastructure, the platform we've built to help you run bounties, solve bounties, earn Bitcoin. But first, before I dive into the nitty-gritty, the details, the screenshots and all, I want to talk at a higher level of a problem that we face as an industry, and that is how do we integrate Bitcoin Lightning functionality into existing web platforms? So far, option A has been to beg or persuade. So, dear Elon, please add Zaps to Twitter. Dear Satya, can you add Bitcoin payments into GitHub? It would be so great, right? And kind of hasn't really been working. So option B has been to build an alternative. And we've done this with Nostr. We've done alternative social media. We have Zaps tightly integrated into there. The problem in our domain, code collaboration, is our fiat competitors are about 10 years ahead and $100 million of investment for the platform. So even if we were to catch up, it's still going to be a pain to educate our users, get them to switch to a new platform, et cetera. So given that option A, begging, isn't working and option B is out of scope, how does Lightning Bounties bring Bitcoin functionality to code collaboration? So our approach is what I call a layer 2 on top of GitHub. And the linchpin to this is right at the top of your app when you go to it. It's going to say login with GitHub. This is called OAuth, and we've all seen this before. It's for convenience, really. You can log in with your Facebook, with your Google to different apps, and that's for convenience so you don't have to remember another username, password. For us, though, login with GitHub is more powerful. This is going to let us connect your code contributions, your public code contributions over on GitHub to the rewards you win over on Lightning Bounties right there. So the L1, the GitHub, that's the source of truth where the code, the collaboration, accepting or rejecting the bounty is going to happen. And Lightning Bounties is really that payments layer, that layer 2, where you're able to attach sats onto a task, get them discovered, and ultimately where the bounty hunter gets paid off right there. So that's the OAuth point. In addition to the OAuth point, we've got API integration with GitHub as well, right? And so this is important because we don't want to build another ticketing system. So Lightning Bounties is already reading all the data on what the tasks are, any solutions that come in on GitHub, so we don't have to build that functionality up ourselves. And further, who wants to learn how to use another ticketing system, and who wants to get stuck with that job of syncing data between 2 different platforms each day as well? It's not a fun one. So the third thing that's going to come over, in addition to those 2, is reputation, right? And so reputation is really important for a bounty platform. This is going to tell you in this software ecosystem, or for this user in particular, what are the rules, what are the guidelines around successfully submitting for this bounty. So one thing that comes over from GitHub is every user on Lightning Bounties is linked to a user on GitHub. And so let's see kind of what reputation looks like on GitHub if you're not familiar. We can take a look at a profile, see how many stars they've garnered, how many followers they've got, the famous green squares for activity. And really this data is going back years, sometimes decades for a lot of people. So we're actually inheriting all this reputational data to start off. And this is usually a big problem. You build a new platform, every user starts at 0 reputation. We've got a reputation coming in. But beyond what we're inheriting from GitHub, we're also building a layer 2 of reputation. And that is every time you post a bounty on Lightning Bounties, you can link those bounties back to their source of truth on GitHub, the GitHub issues, the pull requests, etc. You can check out the conversations there and in the true outcome of the bounty. Was it rewarded? Were there revisions requested, etc. right there. So we're able to basically, with this layer 2 on GitHub, as I call it, approach, we're able to get away from having to build a new coding platform and teach people, get away from building a new ticketing system, and we're escaping the cold start problem of reputation on a new platform right there. So what we're able to do with this is add that Bitcoin functionality, that lightning, that zapping on a layer 2, and keep our users in the workflows of GitHub, which they already know right there. So that's kind of where we're doing the code collaboration. But let me take you into some of the functionality around rewarding and with Bitcoin here. So one thing that is going to come up is you're going to attach some sats to a task on Lightning Bounties. And that's an incentive to bring in a bounty hunter to get it fixed. It's not always going to get fixed. It might not get attempted. The solution might not work, or you just might go ahead and fix it yourself or someone on your team. Obviously, you've put those sats into escrow to try to get this task solved. You'd like to be able to get those sats back. A little bit of a trade-off here. We don't want you to be able to take those sats back right away, especially if you just got a nice submission from a bounty hunter. So what we have is a standard 2-week lock period. You can change this, but while this lock period is in, you can't take those sats back from the task. That way, if the bounty hunter submits a solution, he knows he's going to get paid. After this 2 weeks is over, you can either expire the reward, turn it into a different type of bounty, or even withdraw those sats, walk away none the poorer as well, having tried it out. All right. So one other feature that I really like is crowdfunding on this platform. So I think this is a really cool idea, and we can do a lot with it in our ecosystem and others. So a bounty, we usually think of a bounty as having, Boom. We got it. Boom. Nope. We'll get it. There we go. All right, so a bounty doesn't just have to have one poster of a reward. It can be 2 people, it can be 100 people. We have crowdfunding. If you're a user on Lightning Bounties, you can add sats to any other open bounty on there. Even if you're not a user on Lightning Bounties, say you don't have a GitHub or you don't want to link your GitHub account to our site, you can still generate a Bolt 11 invoice on every bounty page, add some sats there, and you're doing something meaningful on the platform. You're incentivizing a task to get solved right there. So this has a lot of uses. This is kind of micro funding before you get that pre-seed funding, before you get that open sats grant. Can you get a small amount of investment to help you keep that development running? In the software tools you use, can you fund features on your roadmap? And this is also nice as just a pledge to help out your friends, your colleagues, the builders that you've been working with here. Great. Oh, so I have to click back here. All right, this is the final feature I'm going to talk about. This is a big one. It's a little bit subtle though. All right, so the way we've architected the system is that every public project on GitHub is enabled by default. Those projects don't need to actually sign up. And you don't need to be affiliated with the project to post a bounty on it. So I'm not affiliated with the React project, the Django project, the mempool space project. I can go post bounties on those projects right now. Mike can go post bounties on those projects right now. Anyone in this room, all you need to do is log into Lightning Bounties, copy GitHub URL from that project, and you can create a bounty, put some sats on there. So really this is opening up from like, we have a few thousand developers in the core Bitcoin Lightning ecosystem. This is opening up a market to the other kind of 99% of software projects out there right now. So let me flesh this idea out with one more example. This is what we call third-party bounties. And you can see this is one of the first bounties we posted when we first started up. This is a project on the LN Bits software. It was posted by Enrique. I threw some sats in, Mike threw some sats in, and this is about supporting Bolt 12. We use LN Bits as part of our tech stack, and we'd love to get some Bolt 12 into our project as well. So this is a pretty natural fit, is you're funding different features on a tech tool you use right there. Makes sense. But there's actually something that's also really cool about third-party bounties that's a little more subtle. And that is that even though we love Lightning, we couldn't tell you if a big chunk of code came in, if that fully supports Bolt 12, right? So how am I going to validate whether this code actually meets this bounty? Well, actually, I'm not the judge of this bounty as it's posted. The judge is the project maintainers of the LN Bits repo right there. And they certainly do know what code constitutes a Bolt 12 support feature right in there. So they're the ones who are going to be validating this bounty. Do they need to go to Lightning Bounties to validate it? No, they don't even need to know Lightning Bounties exist or that there is a bounty on this. They have no new workflow. They don't have to do anything extra. They're just going to continue their same workflow on GitHub as they're used to. Public code contributions come in, they review them. If they click that big green button, merge pull request, our system's going to see that and move those sats over to the bounty hunter right there. So you've seen some of the details of how the platform works. Let me take you over to Mike to hear some details about what these bounties look like.
Right. Thank you, Will. All right, so when you think of bounties, you probably think like these hackers going after these multi-million-dollar security flaws. But the truth is that most software projects don't run on code alone. Platforms need documentation, community engagement, and a whole litany of other products. So what we're doing is we're just making it very easy. We're eliminating the friction as much as possible. So let's see what a bounty really is. So could logo design be a bounty? Yeah, why not? How about docs? Sure. Docs can be a bounty. Automation task? Yeah, that could be a bounty. But what about YouTube tutorials? Of course it could be a fucking bounty. Here's some projects you may know and use throughout the ecosystem that you might see in our platform. But posting bounties, or creating bounties rather, is only really half of the task. They have to be easy to post. And a lot of the times what we've been seeing is that these bounty platforms like Immunify, they're really for these 1% of security hackers, and we are for the 99%, the remainder, the rest of us. There's no signups on our platform. You don't need to install any complicated plugins. You don't need to learn you don't need to learn much from our platform. If you know how to post a GitHub issue, you already know how to use Lightning Bounties. But talk is kind of cheap, so I'm going to show you guys 30 seconds how to post a bounty on our platform. This is going to go really well or really poorly. It won't go in between. All right. Oh, I got to talk. All right, so first step, you just go to app.lightningbounties.com. And all you have to do is this one-click log in right here. And just like that, it took less than a second. You're already into the platform. Now it says, look, we have to copy and paste a GitHub issue URL. So this one's a really cool one. Gonna need both hands for this. Go back to the platform. Then let's post this for 2 months. This is kind of what Will was talking about with the time lock feature. And look at that. In about 30 seconds, if I was a Mac user, it'd be 20 seconds. But just like that, it's really never been easier to post bounties. And also, speaking of bounties, this one's a really cool one. It's up live right now. Anyone can come here and solve this. This is for Car's PlebBook. It's something that helped me really learn about all you guys in this ecosystem. It comes near to the Lightning's Bounties team's heart. And it's just a small little token of our gratitude for Car for putting us all in this room together, organizing this, and really just pushing us to the best we possibly can be. We appreciate you, my guy. Thank you.
One more section. I'm going to take us home here. All right, so you've seen how it works. Mike's shown you really the diversity of tasks, the diversity of difficulty levels that we can have on the platform there. So this is great because really what GitHub is a bunch of different ecosystems. And these different software projects are going to need different types of tasks. They're going to have different types of developers. They're looking for different types of collaboration to happen. So if you take all these individual ecosystems on Bitcoin, you add them all up, you get this nice big number of over 100 million users in here. So is this our TAM? Is this our total addressable market? Is it the 1 million Lightning wallet users? Is it some combination of the two there? So this is how we think about it, which I think is kind of interesting. Which is that we're looking to really incentivize collaboration and figure out where incentives make open source a better spot. And so where we are is we're searching for the right ecosystem, we're searching for the right tasks, we're searching for the right level of rewards that are going to start driving bounties in the ecosystem. So we're going to go out to these different ecosystems, get outside this room, go into web development, into AI, into different hobbyist communities to bring these bounties. If we can start orange pilling some of these developers, they might not know even how Bitcoin works, they might not even like it, but if we can drive incentives to get people to collaborate on software projects together, as we continue to do that, we're bringing more people back into the tools that we build in this room, into the Lightning ecosystem. Every time you get paid out on Lightning Bounties, you gotta go figure out how to take custody of those sats and maybe turn them into something more right there. So that's the larger vision, and I'm gonna leave you though with where we are today in this moment in what we've built. Right, so you've seen one of our product emphasis is ease of use. We want to get as many people onto this platform as we can to experiment, see what's working, what's not. So that means there's no installation, there's no new accounts to set up. And as Mike showed you, it takes under 30 seconds. It's just a copy and paste once you've got those sats in there as well. And so beyond the ease of use, we're also looking to build a platform that's flexible. Mike showed you all those different task diversity that can be handled on GitHub issues, but there's also that flexibility of funding, right? Remember, there's crowdfunding. You can get a whole group to fund a feature. There's this time lock. It could be, I only want a solution in 2 days, or spend as long as you want. And there's also the flexibility of third-party bounties, choosing who's going to be the judge, outsourcing that as well right there. So to get to the heart of what we want to build collaboration. If you break down a bounty, there's 3 aspects. There's a reward, there's a task, and there's a judge. And so let me leave you with this, is think of Top Builder. It starts with a reward, right? 15K in Bitcoin. That's got some people interested. That gets the incentive going. Now you got your task. Ship some code and move some sats and impress us, okay? And then we got our judges over here as well. So what have we done by setting up this competition? We've got people in this room collaborating. We want to go take that power outside of this room to other ecosystems. We're Lightning Bounties. Thank you.
All right, so thank you guys. Now we're gonna open the floor for anybody of you that has any question.